Happy Monday. Oh, wait, I have not turned my microphone on. There, you can probably hear me now. There comes Kayla. Happy Monday, everyone. Let's see here.
Hello.
There she is. Hello. How are ya?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Good. I am grateful to be home. I am grateful to be home. So that's how I'm doing. I'm excited. I got to hang out with my sister yesterday. We both were gone for a while, so it was nice. So I'm back home, and it was nice to just wake up on a Monday in a normal, regular place and not feel like I was discombobulated. So how about you?
Fair enough. I always love being home.
It's a good place, isn't it?
Home is my favorite.
Right? I love it. I love it. I love it. How was your weekend?
Good. We went to one of the big nursing home places around. I don't know what to call them. They're they own 7 of the nursing homes in our area.
Oh, wow.
The only 2 with dialysis, actually, which is pretty cool.
Wow. Yeah.
But they had a big summer bash yesterday. And so we went to that. It was really nice. It was so hot though. So we came home and it was almost as if we had been at the beach, just absolutely exhausted.
Yeah. Heat does that.
Kind of laid around and watched a movie. So that was nice because we don't always do that kind of stuff. I'm usually out achieving.
Right. So tell us about our quote for the week. I'm excited to chat about this.
Yes.
Yeah.
So our quote this week comes from Marcus Aurelius. Aurelius? Anybody know? But everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is perspective, not the truth.
I love this so much. So much. I immediately, on getting the quote for today, I immediately thought about the law class, the law school experiment. My niece is starting law school this fall. And so this is top of mind for me. There was an experiment, or there was a professor or something. I read this somewhere where it was an early law class, and the professor had a person come running through the lecture hall, right, and made a big spectacle, but literally ran from one side to the other, and then afterwards talked to the students to find out what their description of the person was, all of these things. And it was all about how eyewitnesses are not all that reliable. That's what it boiled down to. And this quote made me think about that, because they saw it with their eyes.
Right.
But depending on where they were standing in the room, when they noticed it, all of the things that our perspective on their vision affects, what they saw, how they saw it, what it looked like. And so that's what I immediately thought about in regards to this particular quote, is that we have to be careful.
Yeah. Well, and even going down that rabbit hole for a minute, even to add on to that, an individual's kind of mental state and underlying past experiences and biases also help to paint those kind of things, because the human brain there receives billions of pieces of input constantly, and it has to filter through them, otherwise we would never be able to make sense of the world. And to do that, the human brain makes a lot of generalizations and lumps things into categories based on past experiences and whatnot. So obviously everybody's past experiences are different. And so to make sense of something, it gets put into categories that maybe are not accurate. So that plays a role in that whole eyewitness thing as well.
Absolutely.
But it's perspective is something that's been on my mind lately, which is why I wanted to go ahead and bring it here. Because don't laugh, but the older I get,
oh, I'm gonna laugh, Kayla.
The older I get, the more I really start to appreciate the difference that perspective makes. So where I'm trying to go with this is the same exact thing can happen to two different people, and they can have wildly different takeaways on what even happened and how it made them feel, if it was traumatic or not. And it's all based on their experience and their perspective. And what I think is so awesome about this is, with enough attention and intention, perspective is absolutely something that we have control over, our own perspective.
Ooh.
Anyways. And so that things that maybe, like, I know for myself, things that would stress me out, cause me stress and anxiety and weigh heavy on my mind and, really be a big problem for me. I've been lucky enough to have enough personal growth that the same things that stressed me out a year ago, they don't now. Like, I've been able to kind of shift my perspective around what is a problem and what just needs to be handled, and then keep on trucking.
Right. I love that. Yeah, I think that's a huge testament to, and isn't that what we're designed to do, right? Is to grow, and our perspective changes as our experiences change. And you're right, like things that bothered me a year ago, don't bother me so much today, right? Because I gained a lot of perspective.
It's been, I think, almost a year of Mindset Monday, hasn't it? I think we started the first week of August.
Oh my God.
I didn't even think about that till just now. I think we started, I have it on my wind wall somewhere, but I think we started the first week of August.
I think you might be right, because we did it after the speed
first
networking
Mindset
event.
Monday was a hit, 8/7/23. I did put it on
my
wind wall.
Gosh. That's awesome. So we are coming up on a year of Mindset Monday. That's incredible.
Yeah, next week's our 1 week birthday. Woo! 1 year birthday.
Right? So for 1 year, we've been showing up on Mondays. Oh my gosh, that's a huge win.
Yeah.
I had to wow. That's amazing, because I think about the improvement that just doing this one little thing each week has really helped me, stay in this mindset of, somebody asked me yesterday, my sister asked me yesterday how something was going, and it's going. Like, literally, that's my answer, is it's going.
Right.
And it's not good, it's not bad, it just is. And it's one of those things where I think a year ago I would have been stressed out about it.
Right. I can I've had several of those instances lately, and that is part of what brought this to my mind.
Yeah, I love that. And I also, let's not, I think we kind of focused on this, what we see as perspective, not truth. I want to also make sure that we give some time to this. Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. And I think that this flows right into what we're talking about, because it's hard. It's hard when I hear something, especially if it's something that's hard to hear, right? Like if it's constructive criticism, or maybe not so constructive criticism, or whatever that might be. I have to check myself and be like, wait a minute, this is an opinion. This isn't a fact. What do I know to be true about this before I go off, just assuming that everything I hear is fact.
Well, and some of those things are easier to point out. Like, obviously, if somebody is giving you unsolicited feedback, for me, it's very easy to remind myself that's an opinion. Opinions are like buttholes. We can all finish that sentence. Right. But there's other things that can be more sneaky.
Yes.
So everything we hear is opinion and not fact. everything we see is perspective and not the truth. If you need a better example of this, just put on, Fox and CNN.
Right?
Two completely different stories of, any
same
event.
exact world. That's right. And same exact world. I love that. I think that's the perfect example. And we're not going to dive into that, y'all, because that's not what we do here. But
I'm not saying which one's right.
Saying,
I think probably neither. But
and again, it kind of goes into this whole thing. Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. And everything we see is perspective, not truth. And I think the big message that I'm getting from this quote this morning is it's my responsibility, right? It's my responsibility to find the facts and the truths for me. Yeah. And nobody else can do that. Nobody else can. And this is, I think, some of the hard work that we do in this Mindset Monday, right? Is really get comfortable with our own awareness and figuring out, what is my truth?
Yeah. And that's not to say that other people are spouting lies either. It's their truth, but their truth is not equal to the truth. There's a diagram I was trying to find. It just popped in my mind and I can't find it now. But this kind of goes along with another concept of there's 3 sides to every story: his side, her side, and the truth.
Yes. Yeah, the truth is somewhere in the middle. Exactly. Somewhere.
And I found a diagram for this once upon a time. And it was a picture of a 3-dimensional object. You know what? I think there's a parable that goes along with this. It's something about an elephant.
I wish I knew. I wish I could help.
I'm pretty sure you do know, actually. Because I feel like we've talked about it before. It's something about there was 3 blind people and somebody put them in front of an elephant and had them describe what it was, but they were at different parts of the elephant. And so the first blind person is like describing the trunk, and the second blind person is describing the tail, and the third blind person is, I don't know, somewhere in the middle. But you get the point. All of them were describing the same thing, but all 3 of them had wildly different perspectives on it and couldn't come to an agreement on what it was.
Yes.
And I think that's a lot. That concept, I think, applies more broadly than we tend to keep in mind in everyday life. Like every single person in that story was absolutely correct, and their version of the truth was 100% accurate. But what they were missing was that piece of zooming out to have the perspective of the full scenario. And I think that plays a role in interpersonal conflict more often than we give it credit or think about.
Oh my gosh, this is so true. So true. My aunt, I love the elephant parable, and it brings to mind, look, if you guys are listening, drop a comment into the chat and talk to us a little bit about your experience with this quote today. Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact, and everything we see is perspective, not the truth. Immediately, we were just kind of talking about this idea of interpersonal conflict and how this plays a role in that. My aunt used to say about her and my uncle that their biggest problem in their relationship was that they were the flip side of the same coin. And she used to explain it like, I'm facing this way and we have our backs together and he's facing that way. But we're, again, looking at the same world and seeing very different things, and neither one is wrong.
Right.
And that really is a concept. I think you're right, Kayla. I think that in our day-to-day interactions, I think we all agree on that. And it's a really simple principle, but I think in our day-to-day actions,
the application,
right.
More challenging.
The application is much more challenging.
Because I think as human beings, we have a tendency to Well, I mean, you kind of forget that because you live in your own world. The only piece
Right.
of the world that you see is what's in front of your eyes and ears and so on. So we
Right.
forget that everybody else is also having that same experience of living in their own world, and we're communicating through the cross sections and the interpretations of that.
This is beautiful. It's a beautiful bridge. Hey, Adrian, great to see you. Thanks for stomping in. This is a great segue into the application of this very principle in our day-to-day work as advocates, right?
Absolutely.
Because every player in the world that we work in every day with patients, families, providers, insurance carriers, like all of these players, right, have this vision and this perspective of the exact same journey for this patient that we're all trying to help. And as advocates, this really does feed into our role. It is our role to help understand and get everyone to stay focused on the similarities, not the differences.
And also it goes hand in hand with empathy, because bringing this role of perspective, yes, it goes right in with being able to see things from that other person's perspective. That's right. Part of the core of empathy. And like you mentioned, bringing it into advocacy, how I can't even think of how many times I've seen, as the advocate and as in my lengthy career as the bedside nurse, the family is distraught and, they see, nobody's doing anything with mom. And then really there's this whole other, the medical side that the medical team sees and understands what's going on, but the communication is lost. And so the family only has what they see, what they hear.
Yes. Right. And it's such, and like I said, the application is hard. I'm just going to give you like a real-time situation for me personally in this area. I have a client who it's a son and his dad. But anyway, I'm doing some work for them. And honestly, they are really challenging. Okay. From the perspective of they're like what they want changes pretty regularly, pretty quickly, pretty rapidly. And so there's lots of times that I am doing work that a few hours later becomes null and void. And it's really like frustrating for me, right? Because I just did all of this work. But here's what I want to say. I am regularly reminding myself they are super happy with me. They have renewed their retainer multiple times. They say to me, "Thank you so much for all that you do." I have to tell myself they are happy with the service and the provision of what I'm doing for them. How I feel about it really isn't that important in this relationship, right? It's their perception. I am showing up, I am doing what they ask me to do, and I am doing it in excess of their expectations. So their perception is that their service is wildly valuable and they are super happy.
Absolutely.
So if what I do right now in 6 hours is doo-doo, well, they don't care. They're happy.
Yeah.
So this is that whole idea of, what I'm seeing is different from theirs, but they're happy. And I have to remember that, that their perception
and staying in that. This is a slight tangent, but you brought it up to my mind. Yes, staying in that place of they're happy with the service they're receiving is absolutely important, because if you start to go down the path of what I just did doesn't matter, well, you know what? Everything we do really doesn't matter. And 100 years, nobody's going to know our freaking name.
Right? This is so true. I love that.
I mean, how much do you know about your great-grandparents?
Right? Well, I'm really fortunate. I knew 2 of my 4 great grandparents.
That's impressive.
I know, right? My son knew 2 of his as well. So we're super grateful in that perspective. But you're right. How much do we know about them? Right? And how much, like, it is important. And I love what you said, Adrienne. Yes, perception recovery. Shift our view and approach. And I think that's like, did you coin that term? Where did that come from? Because I really like that perception recovery, because it is so true and it's so valuable in the work that we do. All the time with all of our relationships, this is really important. And it's doubly important in our work as advocates. Because we're called to do this. We're called to help merge the perceptions in order to improve the outcomes. And I think that's a really heavy responsibility as far as advocates. And so we need to make sure that we're thinking about these things and reminding ourselves,
It is a heavy responsibility, but also like what a gift.
Oh, yes.
I don't know, maybe I'm doing it wrong. I've only had a few clients so far, but what I'm finding is the majority of my work is just communication.
Yes.
Just bridging that communication gap. Before, I thought it was going to be like, communication is some, and then like there's other things too. It's mostly just explanation, communication, making sure everybody's on the same page. And my current client, he's funny. He, before he talks to any healthcare provider, he calls me and he's like, hold on, I got to get my translator on the phone. He goes, because you guys, the language you're speaking, I don't understand it. And I always say, well, don't feel bad. It is a foreign language. It's Latin.
Right. Exactly. Right. So, and we can use the same thing in the insurance part, right? That like, this is legalese in a lot of ways. It's contractual language that we're dealing with. And so I think it's really important. And it is a gift, Kayla. Thank you for the reminder, because it is a gift. There is nothing more powerful than getting to a place where the client says thank you, the provider says thank you. I think we've all as advocates been there, right? Where like I was told at one point, I assisted with a discharge plan that took far longer than I expected it to, but we got it done. And at the end, even the personnel at the facility where we were discharging from came back and said, we've never had such a smooth discharge.
Aw.
And like you said, it really was just coordinating communication. I want to say, in addition to like bridging the communication gap, the other thing that I think we are called to in our roles as advocates really has to do with accountability and just kind of helping everyone stay accountable. Because in the world of healthcare, things move quickly and there's lots of moving parts, and it's easy for things to get mismatched and forgotten.
Well, and it's a conveyor belt of care.
Yes.
And there are not enough people running the conveyor belt.
That's right.
So stuff's always falling off.
Exactly. And so we're just kind of those guardrails, right? Because we work with individual products as they're going down the conveyor belt, and we can be the guide rails, right? The side guardrails to kind of keep things moving. So accountability, communication bridge, and all of this, in order to be successful in it, all of these quotes we talk about on Monday come into play, every single one of them. Because what happens in the system that is everybody gets frustrated and tired and just is behaving rotely, right? Just, this is what we do. And it is not a personal problem. It's not a person problem. It's a system problem. And so our role, if we have to keep ourselves on the outside of that machine, right, in order to do that. And I think every single quote we talk about every single week in here, applied to the work that we do, is magnificent and helps all of us continue to help people along their journey. And that is
That's
beautiful gift. It is. It really is. So what's our call to action this week? I want to hear some stories. I want to know What do you think, Kayla?
Man, I don't know why we've been doing this for so long, and every time we get to 9:25, I'm like, oh man, what's the call to action gonna be? Like, I never think it through that far ahead of time.
You know what? I happen to have some notes here. This week I brought notes. All right.
Thank God somebody's prepared.
I wouldn't go that far. I would just say these are some notes I'm willing to share. So I'm super excited. Looks like we've got quite a few folks on this morning. I hope that this is helpful. Just to recap, everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. And everything we see is perspective, not the truth. From Marcus Aurelius. I don't know.
Aurelius.
I'm so sorry. Yeah. So my question to everyone is, how are you going to apply this wisdom this week? What is your experience and your perspectives on remembering this? How do you keep focused? And maybe even better yet, like I shared this situation with my client, his perspective is paramount to mine. He's very happy with the work. I'm kind of frustrated with it, but that's okay, right? Because his perspective is more important than mine when it comes to that. So I'd love to hear some experiences from you all in the comments below or over in the community. Let us know when you kind of had an aha, like, wait, my perspective isn't that important in this. Maybe I need to be thinking about it from a different perspective in order to keep things moving on a positive fashion. You guys,
I have an item to tag along with this.
Ooh, yes, go.
Okay. Yes. So my husband likes to, this is one of his things that's become a practice for me, but whenever we're button heads, our thing is this going to matter in a year from now?
Ooh.
And if it's not, it's probably not worth arguing over. And it was probably a perspective issue and not a real issue.
I love that. I love that. I love that. Is this going to matter in a year?
So plug that in your little checklist of agitations. Right? Is this going to matter in a year? No, it's not. Okay, we're going to let that ish go.
That's right. Exactly. I love it. Hey, you guys, this is always fun. I'm so grateful to have you here this morning. We will be here again next week, next Monday.
Celebrating our 1-year anniversary.
Right, 1 year. I can't believe it's been that long, Kayla. It feels like just yesterday we started hanging out on Monday morning. So hope you guys can join us next Monday to kind of celebrate. Hope you have a fantastic week. Be sure and share in the comments how you've experienced this or how you're going to apply this wisdom this week. You guys have a great week, and we'll see you back here next Monday. Take it easy. And I can't get to the end button. Here we go. All right. Bye, guys.